All right, this is your topic 2 Illuminate test review guide. So problem number 1, let's start with that. Eduardo wants to start saving more money so that he can purchase a new laptop for college. So he wants to buy a new laptop for college. He has $300 and will add $3 to his savings every day. Which equation models Eduardo's savings, where n, we're using n, represents each day? So before we get started, let's look for our magic words that we know will help us write this equation. And we see the word every, and we know every means multiplication. So we're going to take the number $3 and we're going to multiply it by the word afterwards, which is, we're going to label our X, which stands for day. But here it says N stands for day. So we're going to erase the X here. Sorry, erase that. And we're going to label this N. So it's 3 times N. So this is starting to look like Y equals MX plus B. Now, in order to write the plus b or the y-intercept, we are looking for a one-time fee or a flat fee. And we notice over here this $300 was in his savings account at the beginning. So this is how much he started with, which is our y-intercept. So plus 300. Okay? Now, if this is an equation, we need a sub n equals. We need an equal sign. So if we compare, here we go. Answer is B. Okay? All right. Anytime you are adding, this is called linear, adding something. We're adding to our starting amount. This is where y equals mx plus b comes in. All right, let's look at number 2. Kayla wants to start a water bottle sticker business. Her base shipping fee is $3 plus an additional $2 per sticker bought. The explicit function can be represented by this right here. Oh, we've seen this before. Which function represents the recursive form? All right, so if we look at our formula sheet, we've seen this equation before. This is the explicit formula. So I'm going to write just the formula down real quick. Oh, I didn't want a heart, but that's kind of cute. All right, here we go. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. Kind of looks like this. It's just kind of out of order. So I'm going to rearrange this into this order. I don't have to, but I'm going to do that just because I feel like it. But remember, this plus sign has to stay with the 5. So this is a positive 5 plus 2 times n minus 1. So I could do that. It's a positive 2, which is what I have. And we know when we look at this that a sub 1 is 5, and d is always in front of the parentheses here, which is 2. Our d is our common difference. First term, common difference. Now, it says which function represents the recursive formula. So if we look at the recursive formula on our formula sheet, it looks like this. And we know that we have to write something like this. So the one thing we need to figure out is what is our d, but we figured it out over here. It is 2. So I can rewrite this as a sub n minus 1 plus 2. Well, let me go figure out which ones are the ones I want. This one says a sub n minus 1 plus 5. Well, that's not right because it's supposed to be plus 2. This one is a sub n minus 1 plus 3. Well, that's not right. This one is a sub n minus 1 plus 2. That's correct. Let's just make sure our first term is 5, and that is correct. So far C is our best choice. In D, it's a sub n minus 1 plus 3. We know that one's wrong. So C is the correct answer. Oops, hold on, let me make this back to being big. All right, for problem number 3, let's see. I gave you the first term, and I gave you the recursive formula. The recursive formula. And I know just from the problem above that if I looked on my formula sheet, it would say a sub n minus 1 plus d. So look at this. I know the first term is 65, and I already know my d is 18. All right, let's keep reading. Which function represents the nth term of this sequence? N is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is not our sequence. We need to be very careful. This is telling me that n is 1 to 10. Okay? So we have to be careful. This is our pertinent information right here. So let's write a rule. This is where when we're trying to find the nth term, we write a rule. All right, so it's a sub n equals, here's our formula, a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. So your first term is 65 plus 18 is d times n minus 1. All right, let's look and see if that's here. This is normally not how we write the rule. We usually keep going and distribute the 18. But every now and then, this tends to be one of our answers. So I'm going to go through first. Well, let me go ahead and distribute first. Let's see what happens. So 18 times n and 18 times negative 1. So we have 65 plus 18n. 18 times negative 1 is minus 18. And 65 minus 18 is 47 plus 18n. So really that's the rule we're looking for. But when I look here, I don't see it. So now I'm going to go back and see, well, did they just use this rule? Okay, so let's go see. Well, it's not that. It's not that. Then here, 65 plus 18 times n minus 1. So far it's that, and it's not that. So C is our answer. So every now and then it does allow you to use this as your rule. All right, which of the following graphs represent the equation y equals 2x plus 6? Now, before I put this into Desmos, I want to figure out, it says here, I'm going to write it down here, y equals 2x plus 6. I know y equals mx plus b. So I know my slope is 2, and I know my y-intercept is 6. So let's figure out first. My y-intercept, well, this one has a y-intercept. Ooh, look. 2 is my slope. It is a positive slope. Important information. This has a positive slope, so that could be it. Let's look here. Well, it doesn't even have a y-intercept on this picture. That is 6. So I know that's wrong. Let's look at this one. This one has a y-intercept that's 6. Oh, but my graph is negative slope. So not negative slope. This one has a y-intercept at 7. Well, my y-intercept is at 6, so that is wrong. So A is the correct answer. If you put this equation in Desmos, you will see a graph that looks just like that. All right, problem number 5. The chart contains the characteristics, at least one intercept. Now, we've been practicing writing points as a y-intercept and an x-intercept. I know by looking at this point here, that I put my pen in the very center and I went sideways, nothing, and then I went, this means down 4. So this means my y-intercept should be on -4 on the y-axis. So I know this is my y-intercept. That's important information to know. So I'm going to go ahead and look to see which one has a y-intercept of -4 first. This one has a y-intercept at +4. That can't be it. This one does have a y-intercept down here of -4, so it could be this one. This one doesn't have a y-intercept at -4. It's somewhere here between 1 and 2, so that's wrong. This one does have a y-intercept of -4, so now we've narrowed it down to B and D. Let's read the next criteria. The interval where f of x, that means where my y values are positive. So when we talk about a positive interval, we're talking about above the x-axis, okay? So we're looking at above the x-axis for all of them. Now, if they're positive, let's just see, this is our positive interval, but let's look at our interval. It says -infinity. So that means that our graph is going this way first, keeps wanting to put hearts, and it goes all the way until, oops, I drew it wrong. Hold on. Let me erase all this. So we are looking where the arrow, if we're looking from left to right, the arrow comes first and then the point. So sorry, this means an arrow. Okay, so the arrow comes first, then the -1. So let's look at the only two choices. If I'm going for left to right, oh, this isn't even -1. Plus the arrow didn't come first, so this is wrong. This one from left to right, look, the arrow comes first, so I'm going to draw it down here, and then we write it -1. So this little section, this little interval, is our positive interval, so the answer is D. All right, let's look at this question. Number 6. Rose was driving to visit her grandmother. The graph models her trip. X represents time. So this is time. She travels in hours. This is hours. Oh, sorry. I'm reading through the wrong thing. I got a lot of sorries. I'm not reading. This is why it's important to read the whole thing. X represents the time she traveled in hours. So this is time in hours. Y represents the distance. So this is distance. There we go. The distance she traveled. Okay? Actually, I'm going to go do this on part 2 because I'm about to run out of time on this one section.